about the next presidential election.
Led by you.
It's a mockery of American politics.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
Hello all, and welcome to the L Show, where the L in the L Show stands for leaning in, which means we will not shy away from any topic, no matter how taboo or how uncomfortable it may be. Things like menopause, sex and libido, menopause, hot flashes, menopause, dry vagina, mental health and depression, which makes you not want to have sex, how we look and how we feel. We will talk about it all. And I really feel like the more normalized we make these topics will have such a huge impact on our experiences in the community as women. I'm your host, Dr. Nicole Eastman, and I'm the owner of Rose Pharmacy and Boutique Apothecary here in Cornelius. We are a compounding pharmacy with a focus on functional medicine and a much more natural approach to your health. And for those of you who are not familiar with what compounding is simply where your pharmacists make medications that are formulated in a specific dose and or specific dosage form that is unique to you. Not all compounds or compounding facilities, though, are alike, and quality shows in every aspect of what we do. And if you're taking too many medications, supplements, or both, make sure that you take advantage of our consultation services where we can help you safely solve that issue. And unless there is some unique medical issue that precludes you from taking certain supplements, everyone should be on a professional pharmaceutical grade probiotic with a prebiotic in it, fish oil, magnesium glycinate, and a multivitamin, all of which are beneficial to especially women that are in the hormonal imbalancing stage. We just need to get you back on track and get your gut together. So you can get those things from Rose Pharmacy, and we guarantee what is in every bottle, and very few companies can offer you that. You can find out more about us on roserxboutique.com or on Facebook and Instagram at Rose Pharmacy and Boutique Apothecary. So our topic today, as we conclude this holiday series and are just a mere 9 days away from the new year. Wow, 9 days away. We're going to jump into getting our bodies prepared to take on the new year with whatever goals or resolutions that we have set up for ourselves. Last week, we discussed procedures and alternatives, and this week we are talking about getting ourselves ready on the inside so that whatever we decide to do externally, our bodies have a much higher degree of positive response. So we're going to be discussing this with our guest, Christiane Matey. She is a registered dietitian and owner of Mint Nutrition, and also our very own Dr. Josette Guifridda, owner of Refresh Medical Spa, the importance of gut health and hormonal balancing as things that we must include in our New Year's plans and why. Now, before jumping into that, I wanted to share a very interesting report that I read that was published in the newsroom section of Bank of America's website only a few months ago. I think it was in June. It was called Breakthrough Stigma, Menopause in the Workplace. And it basically was talking about menopause-specific benefits. So we know we have like when you sign up for your benefits package, whether or not that's dental, whether or not it's vision, they are talking about this being added on as something that they offer and menopause-specific benefits. I was like, whoa! I thought that was very, very interesting. And this report, it was based upon a survey of 500 HR decision makers and 2,000 female workers ages between 40 and 65, all who worked at companies with greater than 1,000 employees. I want to say this. I want to give shout outs to Bank of America for trying to really address this issue of the numerous women who are trying to manage their careers, the symptoms of menopause, and all of the horrible things that come along with it, the horrible stigmas. Like we're old, we are not going to be as effective. We can still work, and we can still work as long as we have the support. So I am really, really proud of Bank of America for publishing this, because they're trying to bring awareness and actually identify actions for employers to take. Now, what surprised me the most, of course, is what I said, menopause-specific benefits. And I didn't even know that that really existed. Um, have you guys heard of that existing?
No.
I'm going to bring my guest in a little bit, but it's just unbelievable to me that that is something that is available. And so what I found was I looked it up. There's a few companies that actually currently offer menopause specific benefits. That's Bank of America, of course, Microsoft, and Sanofi. Um, Now, there are a number of companies that plan to offer menopause specific benefits. At the beginning, so in 2022 was about 4% that had that on their books to offer menopause specific benefits. And as of this year, 15% of companies have a plan to offer menopause specific benefits. And I think that this is important because there's a Mayo Clinic study that shows that it costs about $1.8 billion in lost work time each year and costs the economy an estimated $26 billion in medical expenses. And according to the North American Menopause Society, about 20% of our workforce is in some stage of menopause transition. And the number of now get this, the number of postmenopausal women is expected to reach 1.1 billion by the year 2025. That's a lot of menopausal women. Okay, so if that is not a crisis, okay, like it should be treated like that. It's a state of national emergency, honestly. So hats off again to companies that are bringing this to light, because it is one of those things that we don't hear about. And when you are, especially when you're in like a male dominated company, that's not going to be something that typically is going to be talked about or that is going to really be understood. They can hear you, but do they really understand what you're going through? So I want to just mention a couple things that the study found, and we're not going to be really surprised about this, but I do again want to just mention it. So the study reveals some major disconnects between how employers feel about how employers feel around supporting women employees and how those employees feel they are being supported. And that is a huge piece. The employers may be aware of it, but they need to take some action into getting into the mindset of what women need to feel supported in the workforce. So again, hats off to Bank of America for doing that, for publishing that report and just kind of putting it out there. So if you or your healthcare provider has been looking for quality compounding pharmacy in Lake Norman area, look no more. Rose Pharmacy is the place for you. Quality shows in every aspect of what we do. And because we are a pharmacy, if you are taking too many medication supplements or both, make sure that you take advantage of our consultation services where we can help you safely work on solving that issue. And unless there is some unique medical issue that prevents you from taking certain supplements, everyone, and especially women who are dealing with those uncomfortable symptoms of hormonal imbalance, should be on a professional pharmaceutical grade prebiotic or probiotic combo, fish oil, magnesium glycinate, and a multivitamin, all of which you can get at Rose with a guarantee of what is in each bottle. And again, very few companies can offer you that. Now, please be sure to take advantage today and either call in with questions or comments to 1-844-STUDIO-4 or 1-844-788-3464. And you can also interact with us via social media. And with that, we will be right back with our guest, Christiane Matey. She is a registered dietitian and the owner of Mint Nutrition. Be right back, guys.
Have your say.
Trusting the government to fix anything is a joke.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't even trust the banks with our money.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. From December 24th through January 1st, WSIC will be playing Christmas music all day. And we can't forget about the last few Panthers games of the season. See you in 2024. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and cheers to the new year from all of us at WSIC. Celebrate Kane Center for the Arts' first anniversary gala, along with Broadway star Mandy Gonzalez. Dinner and a show, January 6th at Kane Center for the Arts. You may remember Mandy Gonzalez from her roles in Hamilton and Wicked. This is a black tie optional celebration. All-inclusive tickets include dinner and the show. Happy anniversary, Kane Center. Visit kanearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Want to see more than 5 million Christmas lights at one time? Speedway Christmas is back. Happening daily, the amazing Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway is happening now through January 7th. The show is open 6 to 10 p.m., rain or shine. The infield Christmas Village is open Thursday through Sunday nights. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway, now through January 7th. For tickets, visit charlottemotorspeedway.com. Santa is here. Schedule your time to take pictures between now and Christmas Eve in Birkdale. Appointments include time with Santa and 8 digital images from the professional photographer. For more info and to schedule your time with Santa, visit birkdalevillage.com. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. We're expecting the sun to come out as you head through the afternoon. High temperature today is going to be up at 55 degrees. Into your evening and overnight hours, clouds will begin rolling in again. Partly cloudy skies. Overnight low is going to be just below freezing. We're down at 29 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Check out what's jingling around your hometown on WSIC. Be a part of the conversation.
I listen on the way to work.
Have your say.
It's more than just opinions, it's facts.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
Hey, and welcome back to the Elle Show. I'm your host, Dr. Nicole Eastman. If you or your healthcare provider has been looking for a quality compounding pharmacy in the Lake Norman area, well, look no more. Rose Pharmacy is the place for you where quality shows in every aspect of what we do. And because we are a pharmacy, if you are taking too many medications, supplements, or both, make sure that you take advantage of our consultation services where we can help you safely work on solving that issue. And unless there is some unique medical issue that makes it so that you can't take certain supplements, the majority of people in the United States, especially when we're talking about the diets that we consume in the United States, and especially women who are dealing with uncomfortable symptoms of hormonal imbalance, you should be on a professional pharmaceutical grade prebiotic-probiotic combo, fish oil, magnesium glycinate, and a multivitamin, all of which you can get at Rose with a guarantee of what is in each bottle. Very few companies can offer you that. And remember that you can call into the studio at 844-STUDIO-4, or you can interact with us on social media with your comments and questions. We have in the studio with us today our first guest, Christiane Matey, who is a registered dietitian and the owner of Mint Nutrition. Welcome, Christiane.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're so glad to have you on the Elle Show. I love guts. So, that's just what I love it, guts and nutrition.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of, because you've never been on the show before, could you tell us a little about you and your background, your professional background?
Absolutely. So I grew up in the restaurant business. My house was upstairs at the restaurant that my parents owned. So food was like the center of everything. So I became a chef, over time, and studied at the Culinary Institute of America and traveled all over the world, cooked everywhere, New York City, London. And I think it's really my own personal issues what led me into becoming a dietitian. I had some weight issues, but definitely had some gut issues my whole life, probably since birth. Spent decades trying to figure it out, source what's wrong with me, and just getting educated on it. So I think asking my own questions, try to solving my own problems really led me to years of schooling and, credentialing and all that stuff, and really led me to build the business that I have today, which encompasses that.
So let's talk about the chef piece.
Yes, yes.
That's impressive to me because I can't cook.
Oh, you can't? Oh, I can teach you.
I can't cook. But, how often do you incorporate that into Like when you're discussing with people about nutrition, are you saying, hey, this is the things that I do? Do you share recipes?
Yes.
Do you do that?
Yep. Yes, I have all the above. So what I do is very personalized. So people come to me sometimes in tears like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to cook and it's a problem in my family, or I don't know where to source the food. All this information's out there. So truly my job is to meet people at their level. If they're okay with learning about cooking, great. I'll help you with that resource, show you some prep tips. I've gone to people's homes and helped them prep food. I don't do that often anymore. I'm too busy now, but I do go to the grocery store often with my clients, and really that helps me get inside of their pantry in a sense, because now I can kind of engage them or take out those fears about food. Oh, I didn't know I could have that. Well, sure, you can have that. Here's how you can make it better. So it's not a lot of restriction and stuff, but it's really meeting them at their level.
So when they come in, do they say, hey, listen, I need help? And you're like, okay, this is what we have. This is step one. Like, is there an algorithm that you use, or is it just kind of figuring out like where they are? You know what I mean? Like some people have processes.
Sure.
Of like, listen, the first thing I'm going to do is X. The second thing I'm going to do is Y. Do you have that process in place, or is it?
Yeah. So I always start with a health assessment. So it's a
Okay.
deep dive on history and who they're seeing. If I can tag another practitioner like you guys, I love, because we're all on the same page. It's about the patient's health overall. And then really the gut health is at the top of the list. And then I say stress and sleep and routine before I talk about diet. So if we can't adjust stress and how the effects on the body, or really improve sleep, forget what's on your plate. You're not going to make good decisions when you don't sleep well. You're definitely not going to make good decisions when you're stressed out. Maybe not eat, or eat too much, or we don't have a lot of coping mechanisms and or that are taught to us. It's mostly like, oh, go get the ice cream or pop open a bottle of wine, and which are not bad, but truly it's the overindulgence that tends to be problematic. So it's prioritizing that in what they need.
So just tell our listeners the importance, like the impact on the body of a healthy gut.
Everything works. When it's healthy, everything works. You feel good. You're going to the bathroom, normally. I mean, sometimes people I do discover, they're like, normal for them is like 16 times a day. I'm like, that's not normal.
And, I'll say this, I'll interject here. I remember like when I was on, the bench in retail, and, patients would come in, and that's the first thing they want to talk about is how many times they've used the bathroom.
Right.
Like I'd go, they're focused on it.
Right. Absolutely.
16 times a day isn't normal. Right?
Yes, for them, it's normal. Or once a week. And I'm like, that's not normal. Like, we need to make an improvement there. That's a problem. But they're usually coming to me. It's very rare I get someone who's like, oh my gosh, I want to just learn how to be anti-aging. And, it's just not happening. So usually they're coming to me, they're feeling really bad. They've been scoped. They've been to the gastroenterologist, who doesn't really look at the biome and the gut health. And they say, well, there's no lesions or cancer or anything. Metamucil's you've got IBS, you're fine, and off you go running. Yeah, go take more fiber. And they're like, no, it makes me worse, So that biome is just a huge factor in terms of answering your question. Psychology, mood, health, sleep, hormones is a big factor, as you understand. And if you're not going to the bathroom, what's happening? You're just recycling that estrogen that you're trying to get rid of. So it jacks up people's estrogen levels. And then you're not feeling good. You're recycling all the toxins and everything else. So it is really the center of everything. And truly, they're dubbing your gut as your second brain. And I think a lot of people don't realize there's so much to do with, oh, wow, when I'm really stressed out and I hate flying, I don't like flying. And I'm always like, I got to go to the bathroom. And they're like, oh, here she goes. It's your brain and your gut, just that symbiotic relationship can be dysfunctioned or dysbiotic. And when it is, it affects everything. And it could be something quick, did a round of antibiotics or had a mommy makeover and everything shifted, or a lifelong, I think you've had candida since you were a baby. You might have had that, you were on medications as a baby, and it really set them on that pathway of just never being regular or healthy, and it creates a lot of other problems.
So I guess my question for you is, whenever you start working with someone, what are the first things that you notice, like the first improvements that you notice? Like, what are the first things they tell you? I'm doing this better, or I'm feeling this way. Right. I'm feeling differently. What are some of those things?
I think overall it's about how they're feeling, they're sleeping better, or maybe have lost weight, because sometimes the inflammation with gut dysbiosis, they're small percentage is not gaining weight, so they'll be underweight, but a majority of people, if they're dysbiotic, they're inflamed and they can't lose weight. So they're like, oh my gosh, the scale's actually moving. I'm going to the bathroom. I haven't gone to the bathroom like this in decades. And I'm like, that's a huge change. You know, they're in a better mood. You know, it really trickles into every facet of their life. You know, they're deciding to, or maybe they've learned to eat a little bit better. They're not stressing and eating at night, where I'm like, you know, eating right before bedtime, it's probably creating problems. You've got that undigested food in your gut and you're not sleeping well. Hi, here we go. We're on that cycle of like, okay, I'm looking for carbs the next day. And then it's creating more infections and stuff like that. So it's really a matter of kind of helping them gauge where they're at and how we can really move the dial quickly without moving mountains. Keep it easy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So are you about portion control, or are you about certain foods? Because everyone has their own thing that they like, listen, you know, don't deprive yourself, just have a smaller amount. Or no, leave these things alone, focus on these things. So what is your approach?
Yes, that's a really good question. I don't like to focus on things that people don't want to focus on. So if they're like, listen, I like my coffee, chocolate, and wine, don't even talk about getting rid of that. Like I would run out the door. So I don't understand why I would not double down and say, let's get rid of all those things. I'm like, listen, we got 1,000 things to work on. Don't worry about it. It's more about balance, moderation, and teaching people what they can have. Because listen, nobody wants to be told what to do. So if I tell you can't have all these things, what are you going to do? You're going to eat them.
You're going to want more of it.
You're going to eat them all day long.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where it's more. So what do you think? You know, you might say, you know, let's put them on whatever full elimination diet. They can't have gluten, they can't have dairy, sugar, soy, you know, all the above. And they look at me like I've got, you know, a Medusa. They're like, I can't even do this. And I'm like, okay, well, sort of, how do we move the dial a little bit? What are you willing to cut back on? You know, so you don't have to give up alcohol necessarily, but can you cut it back a little bit, because that's super impactful. But I may focus on other things that might be better for them, like eating too late at night.
Yeah, I can see people squirming in their chairs if you're saying that, and you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Just that's where it's not sustainable. So I
No.
like your approach.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't focus on 50,000 things. Let's just cut back.
Yeah, and one or two things, you know, and that's why I do a lot of coaching. So it's like, let's work on one or two things, keep it so simple that it's easy, and you start to feel better and get momentum, and then it's like, oh, you end up on Mount Everest. You're like, how did I get here? It wasn't moving mountains, you know.
Gotcha. So we are going to definitely continue this discussion on the other side of our break. But again, if you or your healthcare provider has been looking for a quality compounding pharmacy in the Lake Norman area, you should look no more. Rose Pharmacy is the place for you. Quality shows in every aspect of what we do. And because we are a pharmacy, if you're taking too many medication, supplements, or both, make sure that you take advantage of our consultation services, where we can help you safely solve that issue. And unless there is some unique medical issue that precludes you from taking certain supplements, the majority of the people in the United States, and especially women who are dealing with the uncomfortable symptoms of hormonal imbalance, you should be on a professional pharmaceutical grade prebiotic-probiotic combo, fish oil, magnesium glycinate, and a multivitamin, all of which you can get at Rose with a guarantee of what is in each bottle. Very few companies can offer you that. And we still have a couple of segments to go. So remember that you can call into the studio at 1-844-STUDIO-4, or you can interact with us on social media with your comments and questions. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Christiane Matey, and then we're going to talk with Dr. Josette Guifridda. See you on the other side of the break.
Breaking news, expert analysis, and the stories that matter most, all in one place.
I totally acknowledge seeing flames is a scary situation.
WSIC News Talk Now.
Senator Tom Tillis is harnessing the power of clean energy to create a stronger America. Building a clean energy economy will create high-wage American manufacturing jobs and expand opportunities for hardworking families to thrive and prosper. Investing in clean energy innovation will strengthen our electric grid and make it more resilient against natural disasters and foreign hackers. Senator Tom Tillis understands that clean energy is vital to America's economic and national security. To become energy independent, America needs an all-of-the-above energy strategy. Wind, solar, and homegrown biofuels can help break our dependence on foreign energy, create a booming economy, and protect our environment for generations to come. America can lead the world in clean energy innovation. Call 202-224-3121. Thanks, Senator Tom Tillis, for building America's clean energy economy. Paid for by Americans for a balanced budget.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. We're expecting the sun to come out as you head through the afternoon. High temperature today is going to be up at 55 degrees. Into your evening and overnight hours, clouds will begin rolling in again. Partly cloudy skies. Overnight low is going to be just below freezing. We're down at 29 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Check out these great propane-powered deals from G&B Energy in Statesville, and you can get cozy with the new fireplace and save up to $350 in rebates on Cozy Heat fireplaces or receive a free on-off remote when purchasing gas lot sets over $700. Best of all, when I take us water heaters start at $430 after rebates. Visit G&B Energy today off Highway 70 at 120 Entercraft Drive in Statesville or go to gbeenergy.com.
A psoriasis flare-up can make a walk in the park, well, no walk in the park.
It's that obvious, huh? I've tried so many lotions and creams, but I still have symptoms.
So those don't do enough to treat the inflammation beneath the skin, leaving you with those uncontrolled symptoms.
Makes sense, but what else can I do?
You can get real with your dermatologist so they can help you get clear. Make an appointment and, oh, you're already on it.
Hi, yes, I'd like to make an appointment.
Get real clear about psoriasis at letsgetrealclear.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? Because no two people sleep the same. Only the Sleep Number smart bed lets you each choose your individual firmness and comfort for your Sleep Number setting. The Climate 360 smart bed is so smart, it actively cools or warms up to 13 degrees on either side for your ideal sleep temperature. And now save 40% on the Sleep Number Special Edition smart bed ends Sunday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't fix America's debt by starving its people.
Have your say.
One shooting after another, and we're doing nothing to solve it?
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
Welcome back to the L Show. I am your host, Dr. Nicole Eastman. If you or your healthcare provider has been looking for a quality compounding pharmacy in the Lake Norman area, look no more. Rose Pharmacy is the place for you. Quality shows in every aspect of what we do. And because we are a pharmacy, if you are taking too many medications, too many supplements, or both, make sure that you take advantage of our consultation services where we can help you safely work on solving that issue. And unless there is some unique medical issue that precludes you from taking certain supplements, the majority of people in the United States, due to our diets and what we're exposed to, and especially women who are dealing with those uncomfortable symptoms of hormonal imbalance, should be on a professional pharmaceutical-grade prebiotic-probiotic combo, fish oil, magnesium glycinate, and a multivitamin, all of which you can get at Rose with a guarantee of what is in each bottle, and very few companies can offer you that. And remember that you can call into the studio at 1-844-STUDIO-4, or you can interact with us on social media with your comments and questions. So we are going to continue our conversation with Christiane Matey on the gut and how important it is with what she does with nutrition. And then we are going to bring in our guest, Dr. Josette Guifridda, the owner of Refresh Med Spa, where we can talk about the importance of balancing hormones. So, Christiane, let's get back to where we were. I want to start with some of the more common challenges that you encounter with your clients. What are those?
That's a great question. I think a lot of people come in, I think, confused. You know, they go down some rabbit hole of researching something, trying different things, not having a lot of success, or something works for about a week and then it doesn't. And often people will come in almost in tears, frustrated with the lack of improvement, or any changes. because they're trying things just from whatever they hear or reading some blog about somebody else's experience. And when you're dealing with gut, I always say it's like a Cracker Jack box. Everyone wants an answer, and I'm like, I don't know. But usually, if it's something lifelong, it's going to take a while. But everyone, you could put 100 people on the same thing, and they all have different titration schedules and responses and symptoms and reactions and all sorts of stuff and positive outcomes. But in the end, the goal is to obviously have positive outcomes. So I'd say that's probably one of the most common challenges that people see, and it's hard for me to help guide them.
So how much hand-holding do you have to do at the beginning?
Yes, that leads right into it.
That was easy, right?
A lot. Yeah, that was easy into that segment. Yes, a lot of hand-holding, which, they have access to me so they can contact me with symptoms or however they're feeling, or if they're confused or just frustrated. We want them to feel better, obviously. But sometimes with a gut, you might feel a little bit yucky first, depending on what we're doing. But the goal is not to feel super yucky in the beginning. And then usually this is where diet can kind of play that role too, is, when do we start with diet? Because they're like, okay, well, you're a dietitian and nutritionist. When are we going to talk about food? I'm like, let's wait a couple weeks until you get some, momentum going, because if we do them at the same time, you could feel really bad. But it is a player, and it's not always an area. Nutrition is great, but you don't always have to just fit in that box of doing something super restrictive. It's more about figuring out what works best for you and how your body responds.
Gotcha. So are there staples that you recommend for all of your clients?
I do very personalized recommendations, when someone comes to me for a health assessment. But generally, I'll say like a multivitamin, omega-3, you want to support the detox pathways, get everything working so that if we have to go on something, we're able to get rid of things pretty quickly.
Tell our listeners where they can find out more about you and Mint Nutrition.
Sure. So themintnutrition.com is my website. I've got recipes on there. I do offer a free consultation call. I am in network with most of the big insurance carriers to help offset.
That's important.
Yes.
Important. She does accept insurance.
Yes, which is great. It's amazing. And that's super helpful for people. So I am on Facebook and Instagram at The Mint Nutrition. And that's where you can find me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing, and we look forward to having you on the show again. But of course, sit tight. You're still here.
Yes.
We're going to switch over to Dr. Guifridda. Let's jump on in to our favorite. Our favorite topic is
hormones.
Our moans. All of our moans. How important are our hormones when it comes to how our body functions, and what level of importance do you place on balance in your hormones?
Not important at all. No, just kidding.
Never is not important.
They pretty much play a role in everything in your body. And for an example, like getting into when I was in my later 40s, getting towards, the perimenopausal time, my cholesterol went up, and I'm like, what the heck? And that's why. And, a lot of women experience like increase in blood pressure and that kind of thing. But I mean, it affects sleep, weight, sexual libido, anything, you name it. And hormones have a role in that. And so they are highly important. To sum that up, yeah. Memory. We've been talking, my staff and I have been talking, and I hate calling them my staff, my coworkers. We've been talking a lot about memory and stuff. We're all like, wow, we need a little estrogen, because
I can't remember anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to write it down.
Yeah.
Or it is gone.
Yeah. Focus, memory. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
It sucks.
And it's hard, it's hard to feel normal going through this. So we obviously need support, and it takes a team of people. It's not just me writing your hormones. It's you filling their hormones, filling the gaps, helping me fill the gaps. Christiane helping me, referring to me, helping me, saying, I think this client may need this. It's definitely all about teamwork.
Do you find, though, that, when your clients come in, that they have any awareness at all the role that their hormones are playing on the way that they feel?
Some do. Some are pretty aware.
Is it because of internet searches or because somebody told them?
Well,
Or
there's
because of a
Dr.
friend?
Google and Dr. TikTok, and you know there is some decent advice that I've seen on them. I would not rely on them for your main source of education. Some are pretty aware, but they come to me, they fill out a questionnaire, we have a sit down, we say, I'm like, what are the biggest symptoms? Usually from that questionnaire, or just talking to them for 2 minutes, I could be like, oh yeah, they have no hormones, or they're probably estrogen dominant or lacking testosterone or that kind of thing. So but yeah, most of them are pretty aware, and once you explain to them, this helps with this, estrogen helps with your memory and your joints and this and that, they're like, oh yeah. And then when you do a follow-up, they'll be like, yeah, I didn't notice much change. And you'll be like, how are you sleeping? Oh yeah, I am sleeping better. I lost 10 pounds. Yeah, it's not all like overnight you turn on a switch and everything's 100% cured, but it's definitely an improvement, and it may be a slow improvement. We slowly lost our hormones, and now we're slowly trying to get them back. And typically I start people on the lower end just so we can see,
I noticed that, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Are you going to and a lot of people do really well at the lower doses.
Yes.
And then we push them up, and I'll say add a click or whatever the case may be.
Click or pump.
Yeah.
Depends.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good name for a business.
Yeah.
Add a click.
Add a click.
I like it. So when they fill out the questionnaire, they fill out the questionnaire before they come in.
Right.
So you have an
Hopefully.
idea, right? You have an idea of kind of where you're going because of the questions that but then when they come in, as far as the education piece, do you make that a point to educate them on this is what this is going to do for you, this is what that's going to do for you, and this is why you're feeling, or is that kind of your approach? Or
Yeah, absolutely. They fill out the questionnaire, we talk, and we just kind of gear it towards what they're most likely going to be deficient in. And then we, I draw pretty much the same labs for everyone, adding a few here and there depending.
So what are your typical labs?
Typical labs include like a full thyroid assessment, the 3 major hormones, but like broken down testosterone into free and total, and this gets really confusing, but also progesterone, estradiol, and like prolactin and DHEA, and some of those precursors, and thyroid antibodies, and free T4, free T3. So I could go on. And I also like to check a blood count and, their electrolytes and liver function, just to make sure that it's not just hormones. Because I have had some people, I'm like, that needs to be looked at before we even go anywhere with hormones. It's really important to look at the whole picture. And if they've had them drawn at their primary care, wherever, totally fine, as long as, they're normal. But it does give you a good picture of their overall health. And sometimes cholesterol. I do check cholesterol a lot. But I don't prescribe for their cholesterol. That is their primary care.
Primary care provider. Okay. So what about breast screening? I know that that's something that is important.
Yes, I require an annual breast screening, whether it be thermography, mammogram, ultrasound, MRI, however they have their breast screened. We need that little bit of clearance before starting.
Gotcha. So what would you say foundationally, what would you say that, like, foundationally, that balancing hormones is going to be one of the first things that you need to do if we're going to start working on your internal just clock, so to speak?
Right. I believe it goes along with everything. So if you have an unhealthy gut and you can't, the hormones probably aren't going to do a whole lot unless your gut's healthy. Mm-hmm. And, there's different ways to get the hormones. So whether it be a pellet or a topical or oral, if you're doing an oral progesterone, I prescribe a lot, as you know.
Yes.
If they're not able to process that properly, then what's the point?
All right. So we're going to continue with Dr. Guifridda when we get back. Remember that if you're healthcare or you are looking for a quality compounding pharmacy in the Lake Norman area, look no more. Rose Pharmacy is the place for you. And because we're a pharmacy, make sure that you take advantage of our consultation services where we can help you safely work on solving those issues. We will be right back after the break.
Thought-provoking conversations and informed perspectives.
It's meant for everyone everyday people to understand, and you don't have to stress about technical terms and stuff. They just say it like a real person.
WSIC News Talk Now.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. From December 24th through January 1st, WSIC will be playing Christmas music all day. And we can't forget about the last few Panthers games of the season. See you in 2024. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and cheers to the new year from all of us at WSIC. Celebrate Kane Center for the Arts' first anniversary gala, along with Broadway star Mandy Gonzalez. Dinner and a show, January 6th at Kane Center for the Arts. You may remember Mandy Gonzalez from her roles in Hamilton and Wicked. This is a black tie optional celebration. All-inclusive tickets include dinner and the show. Happy anniversary, Kane Center. Visit kanearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Want to see more than 5 million Christmas lights at one time? Speedway Christmas is back. Happening daily, the amazing Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway is happening now through January 7th. The show is open 6 to 10 p.m., rain or shine. The Infield Christmas Village is open Thursday through Sunday nights. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway, now through January 7th. For tickets, visit charlottemotorspeedway.com. Santa is here. Schedule your time to take pictures between now and Christmas Eve in Birkdale. Appointments include Time with Santa and 8 digital images from the professional photographer. For more info and to schedule your time with Santa, visit birkdalevillage.com. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. We're expecting the sun to come out as you head through the afternoon. High temperature today is going to be up at 55 degrees. Into your evening and overnight hours, clouds will begin rolling in again. Partly cloudy skies. Overnight low is going to be just below freezing. We're down at 29 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Hello, everyone. This is Joshua Dobie from North Main Financial Group. We're blessed at North Main Financial Group that most of our clients come to us by referral. When folks have a good experience with us, they share that good experience with their friends, family, and colleagues. In doing so, when we're sitting with folks then, we're looking at their financial plan and seeing if it aligns with their goals and their desires for what yet lies ahead, be it college, be it retirement, or be it estate planning. If that sounds of interest to you, we'd love to hear from you. Reach out to us at northmainfinancial.com.
Like a present that keeps on giving. WSIC. Breaking news, expert analysis, and the stories that matter most, all in one place.
I totally acknowledge seeing flames is a scary situation.
WSIC. News Talk Now.
We are back with the L Show. I am your host, Dr. Nicole Eastman. Not all compounds or compounding facilities are alike, and quality shows in every aspect of what we do. Too many medications or supplements or both? Make sure that you take advantage of our consultation services where we can help you safely solve that issue. And again, unless there is some unique medical issue that precludes you from taking certain supplements, everyone, especially women who are dealing with the uncomfortable symptoms of hormonal balance, should be on a professional pharmaceutical grade prebiotic and probiotic combo, fish oil, magnesium glycinate, and a multivitamin, all of which you can get at Rose with a guarantee of what is in each bottle. Very few companies can offer you that. And feel free to call into the studio at 844-STUDIO-4, or you can also interact with us on social media. Ladies, how important is it as we roll into 2024 for us to have our gut health in line and our hormones balanced all together?
Game changer.
Yes.
Yes.
If you want to start the year off with a bang.
Yeah.
Yes,
exactly.
Go ahead and put that in there.
Hormones on my side. Yeah. You'll sleep better, feel better, have better sex, Yep, there you go. Starting off
Starting
with a
off with a
bang.
bang.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly.
Love
I
it.
love it.
She wanted to really say that.
Yeah, I
people.
did.
She really
I have
wanted
it
to say
written down
that.
and like
Yes.
exclamation point, exclamation point.
Well, guys, this is the last live show before the new year. And I would like to personally voice my gratitude to the studio, my listeners, my family, my team at Rose Pharmacy, my friends, all the people I love, my new friends that I have gained. I want to leave you all with the following things to really think about, to ponder. We all want to live our best lives, the most healthy way that we can, right? Going into 2024. And over the past few years, we know that it has been difficult. We've had COVID and getting back to work, acclimating to the new norm and working from home, and all the stress that has caused. All the stress. It just weighs on us. There are many things in our lives that can weigh on us and that we have to figure out, is it that it's still weighing on us because we're not able to forgive it and let it go? But regardless, there are things we know going into 2024 that we need to let go of. There may be past hurts that holds us back from being the person we were intended to be because we can't forgive. I challenge myself and I challenge all of you to figure out a way to recenter yourself in the now, which is the only thing that matters and the only thing that you can have an effect on. Here's a quote from Eckhart Tolle that I love because although it's difficult, when you think about it logically, it makes so much sense. So forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could be any different. It does not mean that you are okay that something happened to you. It means that you accept the fact that it did happen to you. So we must accept that there's nothing that we can do to change anything that has happened to us through today. Consider that disease or dis-ease that some healers refer to it as can be the result of inflammation that's brought on by stress of something that we have not mentally let go of. And these things can just ruminate and it becomes like white noise because we've become accustomed to feeling not okay. So while we are doing all of this external work for the new year, we're trying to look good, feel good, we also have to remember that there is internal work that we must do. The mental and physical health. We have to focus on love, perfect self-expression, and abundance. We are going to do away with limiting beliefs, sabotaging behaviors, toxic environments, and words that serve absolutely no benefit. If you go into the new year with these negative things in your personal toolbox, your 2024 will look the way that it did in 2023 or worse. We are going to commit that we will not put into the universe anything that we don't want. What can I do to share gifts? Think about what can you do to share your gifts that you've been given with your family, with your community. We think about the ladies that are sitting here with us. We all have gifts. So our focus is how are we going to share our gifts with our communities and beyond. This year, we're going to vow to be fearless. This year, we are going to vow to be courageous. We will not focus on things like lack. We are going to focus on self-love, self-acceptance, and self-forgiveness by loving others, accepting others, and forgiving others. Remember that the universe is karmic. The universe is karmic. So I want you all to really think about this as we go into the new year. How can we show up very differently? How can we make these small changes in our lives? Thinking about how do we approach issues? How do we deal with issues? Are the things that we need to really, we call it shadow work. When, I don't know if you guys are familiar with shadow work, but shadow work is when you're kind of looking into the things of your past that you may not even be aware of that could be holding you back from being the best version of you. So whatever it needs to be, we need to make sure that we are doing it so that all of the stuff that we do externally and all of the stuff we do internally can meld together synergistically to make us the most beautiful version of ourselves. Yes, right? And I was considering whether or not I was going to kind of monologue on this, but it really was on my heart because I know that this has been a difficult year. It's been a difficult year, and we can oftentimes be in our feelings and not really appreciate the things that we have. We're talking about, for the new year, we want this and we want more of that. We want more, but we're not thinking about more is not always going to be better for us. We need to
gratitude.
Yeah, we need to be grateful for all of the things that we already have, the love that we have in our lives that we may not recognize, the people who care about us, the people who support us. And I'll tell you, personally, I've had lots and lots of support, and I don't believe that I have been as vocal in my gratitude for it. So that is something that I am also going to change, and being more grateful for the things that I have, the things that I don't have, because I believe there are reasons why we don't have the things that we always want in our lives. Be grateful for where you are. There is a divine, and I don't know if people are spiritual, but I believe there is a divine work that's out there, that's around us. Everything is what we want is out there for us. It's a matter of, can we receive it? Are we ready to receive all of those things that are already out there for us?
Can we mention an author?
Absolutely. Please do.
Because it sounds like it's Adil Ahmed, Inner Glimpse, and oh gosh, I forgot the other name, but Inner Glimpse is one of hers. But it talks about gratitude and the prohibitive things. And Peter Crone is another one.
Peter Crone.
He's the mind architect, and he talks about limiting beliefs heavily. And anxiety is worrying about things that haven't even happened yet. Yeah. And we need to be grateful. We have abundance. We have so much abundance. So, yeah. And yeah, Adil Ahmed. Oh my gosh, what was one of her first books?
What's it?
I totally can't remember. I'll send it to you so you can post it.
Yes, we can post it.
But Inner Glimpse is one of them, and it, it talks about the universe and gratitude. And if you wake up every day, say thank you. I mean, as soon as your feet hit the floor, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It kind of makes you forget about what you're lacking, and you shouldn't even be worried about what you're lacking, because you're probably not lacking anything of importance.
You can't be hateful and grateful at the same time.
Exactly. I like that.
I love that. You can't be hateful and grateful at the same time.
I'm gonna
love
let me Google.
You need to Google that so we can just kind of pop it in.
Pop that in there.
Pop it in there. We talk about gratitude. We talk about lack, and like she just said, you cannot be hateful and grateful at the same time. I know when I get up in the mornings, I do make it a what's her name?
Manifest Now. It's
Manifest Now is the name of this.
Isn't she beautiful?
Oh my gosh, she is beautiful.
And she's on Instagram too. If you follow her, she'll be like, it's happening now, and all the positivity, and I mean, it's amazing. But yeah, so it's Manifest Now and then Inner Glimpse. I have both of them. I listen to them both on audiobooks like a million times. And,
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. And Peter Crone is the mind architect, so he's has a presence on social media as well, and does workshops and that kind of thing.
That is the inner work that we are talking about. That's the inner work, right? So again, that is where our focus needs to be. If we want to make the biggest impact on our lives and on other people's lives, focus on that inner work. Be careful with your words. Words are powerful. You put them in the universe.
Yeah, you're like, oh,
and
take that back.
Exactly.
Think of something else.
Yes, exactly. Be careful with your words as we roll into the new year. Again, I want to thank everyone who listens to the show, who tuned into this week's segment of the Elle Show. Just thank you guys. Thank you, Christiane.
Thank you for having me.
Josette, for being here. And for those of you who missed any part of this show or any of the previous shows, you can find them on WSICnews.com, or you can watch by following them on Facebook. We're also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Ladies, block off that 3 to 4 time slot every Friday going forward, so this can be our happy hour. We're wrapping up a very busy week together on a very uplifting note. You all enjoy as the new year rolls in. Take care. Bye, guys. Thank you. Love you.
WSIC, Statesville,